Hey, it's your girl Pork Chop, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, let me explain what we do here at Daydreaming in the Garden. This is a safe space where we come in and we talk about hard to talk about topics in a not so hard to talk about way. We take those hard to swallow topics and we make them a little easier to digest. And today I wanted to come to you all and have a heart to heart with you on generational curse breaking and how hypersexuality can actually be a trauma response or a response from being love deprived growing up. Now, as we have this conversation, I will be walking through a couple of the trails that I did throughout the week, and this was one of the ones that I really liked, but I did not realize how much of a hiking trail this really was. Like, we were really out here hiking, y'all. Now, I chose this topic specifically today because it is a topic that I feel like is not talked about a lot. If you are new here, you should probably go look at my camping video and where I went and did a mindfulness reset. And within that, I realized how much that I genuinely related hanky panky to being liked. Now, we're going to take a minute to just sit here and listen to this sound of this water because it was so mesmerizing and hypnotizing to me and so relaxing. So let's just take a moment. Now, growing up, I genuinely do feel like that most girls did come to the conclusion that attention equaled like and like actually equaled love. And that is just not what it is. Hypersexuality, trauma, and emotional deprivation is a complex but very real thing. And here we're going to break it down real quick. This is a shorter video than the ones I usually make because I've been struggling with storage, but I finally got a camera. So we're going to get there. But do you see this amazing view at this trail? If I can find it on my Outros app, I will link it below because if you're a local and you want to go see it, that's perfectly fine. But hypersexuality as a trauma response is often rooted in sexual abuse, neglect, or emotional abandonment. It can be a form of trying to reclaim control over your body, and sometimes it even functions as a numbing feeling, just as most people use illicit substances. Others may use it to feel something because they've gone so numb due to trauma. And others, they also use it as a dopamine driven coping mechanism. To the brain, they may cling to the instant gratification or intimacy of sex to temporarily soothe unmet emotional needs. And for me, those emotional needs were needing to feel loved. I was such a desperate woman and I wanted to be loved so bad that I was willing to give up body, soul, life, and limb in order to be loved. And that is just not what love is. If love is asking you to sacrifice exactly who you are in the name of it, it may just not be for you. And with that, hypersexuality can also be linked to just being love depraved in general and become an attachment based need of coping. People who grew up starved of affection or consistency in love may crave closeness, and they use sex as a form of receiving that closeness. It can stem from anxious attachments or seeking validation, and it might be the only way a lot of women feel wanted, which in a sense was my thing. Remember, if you're new here, I started dancing at 16 years old. So this was a thing for me to think that sex equated to like and love instead of it just being the lust that it was. Is hypersexuality might be misread as promiscuity or even an addiction, when in reality it is an attempt to self-soothe, and it's a repetitive compulsion to try to rewrite your trauma and to claim control over your body, especially if you're someone who has been essayed. It can be a symptom of unmet emotional needs rooted in being underloved or neglected. And for anyone that is here, hypersexuality is not about lust, it's about longing, not just for sex, but for safety, validation, affection, and control. For the longest, I genuinely did look at myself and I was just like, I just like hanky panky. I just like hanky panky. I just like the way it makes me feel. But then I had to get down to the deeper root of the problem of like, why did I like the way it made me feel? And it was because it made me feel loved. It made me feel as though someone actually in that moment cared about me. Instead of loving myself enough to understand that you don't need that type of temporary love in your life to genuinely be happy. Now, if you see it on my face, this is around where I got lost on the trail out here trying to take pictures, and I was just, woo, y'all, it got real. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I am. If you go on a trail, please stay on the trail or have some type of markings to get you out. I finally found my way out, y'all. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to be stuck in here forever. I was really lost. And then I had found a dog that like some other people were walking and I had ran off with the dog. Like, if you have ADHD, please make sure you're using some type of app to keep control of where you at. Because if not, you're going to end up like me. Like the hiking trail was on the other side of the field, y'all. Now we're going to our next one, which is not too far from the first one. And I really do like this trail. And I decided to take my dog. I decided to take Sir Nibbler and Chow. That was his first time on a collar and a harness. And baby, he was not feeling it. But anyway, this is the new trail that we ended up going to. And back to the hypersexuality topic. Hypersexuality is a trauma response or a system of love deprivation. And it often doesn't start with us. It is a generational curse that starts with mothers who never told they were more than their bodies, fathers who never learned intimacy without domination, families who silence conversations about consent, pleasure, or boundaries, and even communities where sexual trauma was normalized, ignored, or shamed. These curses can look like confusing sex with love, feeling only valuable when desired, passing down silence instead of safety, generational patterns of abuse, secrecy, and shame, and teaching your daughters to protect themselves but not to own themselves. Sons taught to pursue bodies but not understand hearts. You can break these type of curses by reclaiming agency over your body, your choices, and your boundaries, teaching your children and you as your inner child that they are more than what they can give sexually, naming and confronting what previously kept in the dark, and creating new scripts for love, connection, and validation, ones rooted in truth and not trauma. Feeling without fleeing and learning to sit with loneliness or longing without outsourcing it to sex. Understand that healing doesn't mean never craving intimacy. It means knowing the difference between hunger and harm. Here's an affirmation that I feel is very dedicated to this situation. I am not in here to inherit shame. I am not here to recycle survival. I am here to end cycles. My body is not a battleground. My desire is not dirty. I break the curse when I choose love that holds me, not hunts me. And I want to thank you all for coming today. And if you have made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you so much for your love and support. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and even share if you can find someone that can relate to these topics. And although we talk about these hard to swallow topics in a not so hard to talk about way and in a not so serious tone, mental health is something that we all should take very seriously. So here are a few resources and the numbers that you can call if you or someone you know or is going through a mental health crisis. Please be sure that you reach out. That's what they're there for. Thank you so much for your love and your support, and I will see you next time here at Daydreaming in the Garden. Be blessed, stay healing, and be safe.